How's it going, everyone? I'm Peter McVeigh. Welcome back to some online tutorials on how to use Pro Tools and get started in recording. So, as you can see, I've started a new session. After our last session, you should be able to create and get to this point. First of all, what we want to do immediately is we want to go and check our playback engine. And with our playback engine, we want to make sure that our interface is connected. It is. We looked at this last time. Remember, just to recap, I have 128 samples. That should be very little latency, a small amount of it. I can go lower, but 128's grand. If the higher you go, the more latency you have. Remember, latency is basically a delay based on you talking or playing an instrument and it coming back to your headphones or going into the interface or through the interface into the DAW. That makes life really difficult when you're trying to record audio. And what you want to do is try and get that as low as possible. Again, please play about with this for a while before you do anything. Just try and play with your system, put in a lot of virtual instruments, see when it starts to stutter. This is all based on how strong your system is, how much RAM you have based on virtual instruments, and how good your processor is based on your effects like your reverbs and delays. Reverbs really take a lot of CPU usage, so just be aware of that. So we've got that. Something that you might want to do right away excuse me, is create a click track. So that's really simple. Go to track and go to create click. Okay, it's not crazy. Let's turn up my system and have a listen to this. It's not particularly nice. I don't really like the sound of that click, and a lot of drummers that I work with don't like the sound of that click. So what you can do here is by clicking on the click in Pro Tools, you can change that. Go to classic and go to click. Well, actually, let's see. Let's try, and then one with the accent. It's not particularly any better for me. So a tick and the attack. Oh, sorry, not the attack there. So what I'm doing here is the tick and the attack, the accented one, which is the one which will be a higher pitch. That's better for me. That would work better in a track, so it's toneless. It's not sort of jarring when you're listening to something. If I was using a click track, that's what I would use. So there's a click track. Setup, really easy. The playback is 1 and 2. I don't need to change that, and there's no input because we're not recording on it. So let's mute that for the minute. Next up, let's create a new audio track. Okay, so Shift, Command, and N. Okay, or Shift, Control, and N, I think, for Windows. We want a mono track because the microphone has one diaphragm. It's an audio track because we're recording audio on it. It's based on samples. We don't really need to look at that, text and samples. And we're going to name it. Okay, so we're going to name it so it doesn't get lost later on. Let's call this Vox 1. Within Pro Tools, you can create other channels at once. So if you know exactly what you want, that's pretty cool. You could do that. So let's do another stereo channel. And let's create an instrument track, and that can be based on text, that's fine, and let's call it piano, if I could spell. So there's 2 new tracks, Vox 1 and piano. Okay, there's no instrument on these, and we'll talk about these channels next. Okay, so in your edit window and your mix window, if I press Command and equals to go between these, so this is the mix window. And if I pull that down here, there's my 3 tracks, okay? There's the click track with the inserts A to E and F to J. And then there is the sends A to E and sends F to J. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm not starting all over again for that. So, inserts. Inserts are where you put your reverbs, delays, your plugins, things that you've bought and purchased. In an instrument track, your inserts are where you put your instruments also. So on this, I can go to click and insert one of the grey boxes, multi-channel plugin, go to instrument, and I want to use, say, Contact. I have the Contact libraries, and that's where I have a lot of my pianos. So let's say una corda and pure. Give it a bit more volume. These are soft pianos. So there's no audio as I play my piano here because I have to record enable the piano. Okay, nothing will come through. You can hear me hitting the keys until I record enable the piano. Cool. So there's piano coming through. Happy with that. Bit of Bon Jovi for the win. And then in my other interface here, or my other channel, I have my Vox. Now I have a microphone. Let's see if it's right here. Another one. Look how smooth that was. That's connected to my interface and not my streaming podcasting interface. So yes, it's pretty complicated. I can turn that off, and I can record enable this. Now there's not going to be any audio coming through this at the minute because my input is channel 4 on the interface. Okay, so I've plugged the microphone into channel 4. So if we listen to this, and I turn my podcasting mic down, we should be getting audio through this now. So what I can do then is go back to my edit window, and you'll see audio coming through here. Okay, so what you're looking for in terms of audio is that you're not peaking when you're singing. The best tip that I can give you for recording any audio, if it's guitar or voice, is sing or play as loud as you're going to play in the recording. That way you'll know that if you're going to peak or not. I've done this for 10 years with kids in colleges and schools, and the one thing that I've really noticed about it is that people never play as hard as they're going to. If you learn how to do that, you can save yourself a lot of time. So if I'm going to sing like this, la 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 la. So that's pretty good. It's coming in at about between -15 and -20. That's good signal. There's a lot of headroom in that if I want to go a bit further. I don't really need to mess about with the gain too much on the interface itself. So optimizing your gain structure, getting your gain level right coming into Pro Tools is really one of the most important things as well. Making sure that there's enough gain coming from the interface to the DAW, your digital audio workstation, your Pro Tools, Logic, Cubase, whatever you're using, Ableton. And making sure that that is a good representation whenever you record it of what you actually sound like. So when I'm in this, I can then press Command equals to go back to the edit window. If I wanted to put the click on for recording and press record. So you'll notice that it started wherever the playhead was. I'll press return to put that right back to the start. It's 120 beats per minute. Let's slow that down just because we can. So we press that red arrow, that's where your tempo is. Let's change that to 100 beats per minute. Okay. Press record to drop in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh. Cool. So let's take the click off. To drop in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh. So we've got some audio in. That's cool. That's working. I can select that and delete that. Let's try and do a live performance of both. So whenever I'm going to record my vocal as well as playing the piano, I can monitor that, so listen back to it with effects on if I've put them on. So if I wanted to put a reverb on or anything on or an EQ, I can monitor what it sounds like with those effects on as well. So if I put an EQ on and I talk into this, and first of all, I don't need anything in the low end up to about 75, let's say. I can make that much steeper, the curve. And then I can play about with my voice in terms of the clarity of the voice up here. If I want between 1000 and 5000 or 2000 and 6000, depending on the voice, is where the clarity of the voice comes through. If you think of a cellular network when you're talking on the phone to someone, a lot of, and you notice that, say, FaceTime is much clearer than what talking on your cellular data network is. It's because that data is usually only sent between 1 and 5 or 2 and 6000. Excuse me. And that's all that's sent. So if I notch out everything, you'll see that it starts to sound a bit like a phone. If we do this, because it's only that data that's needed for coherence. Whereas when you're using your online FaceTime thing, you're getting the full range and the clarity. So, if I wanted to do that, I can monitor that on while it's recording, and then I can go back, press record. Let's get the click on too, sure, while we're here. Take me to the place where you go, I believe in nothing. Take me to the sky above, I still believe in nothing. Nothing says la 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 something. So, take me to the place where you go, I believe in nothing. Take me to the sky above, I still believe useless in junk, nothing. Lyrics wise, nothing says la 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 something. So you'll see that I've recorded some MIDI piano, I've played to a click, and I have audio. So for you just starting, that should be enough to just get going. That should be enough to then just repeat the process for the amount of audio channels that you want in, or the amount of instrument channels that you want in, and that's where you select your instruments. We'll have a look at sort of plugins in the next video, but for now I think that's suitably enough. Cheers, I'm Peter McVeigh, and these are some online lessons.